I met Clara in the summer I was supposed to marry someone else. It sounds awful when I say it like that. But that's how the truth feels sometimes. Uncomfortable, sharp. Samantha and I had been together for 6 years. The proposal had been public, the ring expensive, the smiles forced. We were perfect on paper. But I knew deep down that I loved the life we'd built more than I loved her. And then Clara appeared, like a slow breath in a too-tight room. She worked at the coffee shop across from my office. No makeup, no practiced charm, just kindness that didn't feel earned. She smiled like she'd never been hurt, and I hated how much I wanted to be near that kind of light. I never cheated on Samantha, not in the physical sense. But thoughts count. Feelings count. And mine were everywhere but home. Every morning I timed my walk just to see Clara unlock the door and turn the sign to open. We didn't talk at first, just exchanged glances. Smiles. Those few seconds felt more intimate than 6 years of cohabiting silence. Then one day she handed me a cup with a note under the sleeve. "Come back when you're ready to be honest." I didn't know how she knew, but she did, and it scared me. The wedding was 3 months away when I called it off. Samantha stared at me like I had slapped her. No tears, no shouting, just that terrifying quiet you only get from someone who already knew it was coming. "You're in love with her," she said. I didn't deny it. She nodded, took off the ring, left it on the table. It should have been harder than that. It should have hurt more. But maybe the worst wounds are the ones that heal while you're still pretending they never happened. Clara didn't rush me. She didn't ask for answers or timelines. She said, "Take your time. I'm not a reward. I'm a person." And for the first time in my life, I understood the difference. We started slow. Not dating, just being. Walks, talks, late nights on rooftops just listening to the city. She made me feel seen without demanding to be the center of my universe. With her, I wasn't escaping something. I was building something from scratch. But love doesn't erase guilt. Sometimes I'd wake up next to Clara and see Samantha in my dreams. Not because I missed her, but because some ghosts stay even after the doors are locked. Clara never judged that. She once told me, "People think love is clean. It's not. It's messy and layered and built on ruins." We were both ruins, but somehow we grew gardens in them. A year in, Clara got a job offer in another city. She didn't tell me right away. She said she was afraid I'd think she was leaving me, but I didn't. I kissed her forehead and said, "We've both done the leaving. Let's try staying." So I packed my things, moved with her, left behind a life I never wanted and followed the only thing that ever felt like home. It wasn't perfect. We argued, cried, almost gave up once, but we stayed. And there's something radical about that. Choosing to stay when leaving would be easier. We built a small place with creaky floors and leaky pipes, but the laughter echoed longer than the silence ever did. She filled our home with books and light. I filled it with music and late-night cooking. We filled each other with the kind of love that didn't need proving. Years later, I saw Samantha again. She had a daughter, a ring, a calm smile I'd never seen on her face before. We didn't speak, just nodded at each other from across the grocery aisle. And in that moment, I knew we both found what we were supposed to. Not each other, but peace. Clara and I never married. We didn't need to. We promised each other in whispers, in burnt toast, in shared keys and open arms. She was the only vow I ever meant without saying it aloud. And if that's not love, I don't know what is. Clara had secrets too. One night she told me about her fiancé, James. They were together for 4 years. He was kind, safe, and predictable. But he didn't see her. He praised her smile but never noticed when it faded. He bought gifts but never asked how she felt. She left him 2 months before the wedding. "No one cheated," she said, "but I was disappearing in his arms." That's when I realized. We weren't two broken people who found each other. We were two people who refused to settle for almost love. The hardest night came when I forgot Clara's birthday. Not because I didn't care, but because I was drowning in a work deadline, spiraling through anxiety. She didn't yell. She just said, "I don't need grand gestures. I need to feel remembered." I sat on the floor that night holding her hand and told her about my father, how he forgot every birthday growing up, how I swore I wouldn't be like him, but I was, even unintentionally. She forgave me, but I didn't, because sometimes love means breaking your patterns before they break who you love. 2 years in, we lost a baby. It was early. We hadn't told anyone yet. We were going to surprise our families. But it didn't happen. And in the silence that followed, we found a grief we didn't know how to name. She cried for days. I shut down. One night she said, "You don't have to be strong. Just be here." So I broke down in her arms. We mourned not just what we lost, but everything we wouldn't get to know. And somehow, that pain didn't push us apart. It wove us tighter, into something real, something lasting. Now, 10 years later, Clara and I live in a quiet town. She paints, I write. We still argue about music and clutter, but we laugh more than we ever hurt. Sometimes, I still think about what life would have been if I married Samantha. Maybe it would have been easier, but it wouldn't have been true. And in the end, truth is the only love worth choosing, even when it breaks you first. Clara painted a mural on our bedroom wall one summer. It started with a single line, then a swirl, then color after color. When I asked what it was, she said, "It's what healing feels like." By the time it was finished, it looked like a galaxy crashing into a sunset. She said every morning she wanted to wake up, reminded that pain can become beauty if you let it take new shapes. Sometimes I wondered if I deserved her. I'd catch her laughing in the kitchen or dancing barefoot in the hallway, and I'd think, how did someone like me end up with someone like her? I told her that once. She frowned, wiped flour off her hands, and said, "You don't earn love. You receive it. Just promise you won't run from it." I never forgot that, and I never ran again. One rainy evening, Clara found an old notebook I had written in during the Samantha years. She didn't open it. She simply placed it on my lap and said, "You get to let go when you're ready." I sat by the fireplace that night, reading page after page of a man who didn't know how lost he was. Then I tore them out, one by one, and fed them to the fire. Letting go isn't an event. It's a choice you make again and again until it becomes muscle memory. I used to think love was about never getting hurt. Now I know. It's about knowing you will be hurt sometimes and choosing to come closer anyway. It's not about safety. It's about truth. And in Clara's arms, truth never felt like a burden. It felt like home.